Okay, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Embry. I am the Director of Marketing here at Travel Media Group, and I first want to thank everyone for taking the time to join me on this webinar today. I am very excited to share this presentation and webinar with you all. Now, at the end of this webinar, I will be providing my direct contact information in case you have any follow-up questions with the content that I'm going to be sharing today. But you can also use that chat feature, which is located right there in your toolbar, to type any sort of questions or feedback that you might have. I'll be responding to those questions personally following the conclusion of the webinar. Also, be on the lookout since today's presentation will feature an interactive poll and would absolutely love your participation in it. So let's go ahead, get started discussing what an effective social strategy looks like in 2022. And you've probably heard before the saying that your hotel's social media is kind of like an online billboard for the property. So that's where we're going to start today. Now, I want you to imagine you're on a road trip and you come across this ad on your travels. As we enter the winter and holiday season, this message about beating the heat and cooling off seems silly, out of touch, and irrelevant to the needs of someone traveling right now. This type of marketing will certainly catch a traveler's attention, but for all the wrong reasons, and really could have a negative impact on the hotel's first impression. Now, luckily for the Hotel Paradise and this billboard, it's only going to reach a finite number of travelers that just happen to be passing by the billboard as they drive towards their destination. However, the same cannot be true when we talk about social media. The marketing messages and ads that you share on your hotel's social media platforms are public and can be seen at any time by anyone, which is absolutely great if you have an effective social strategy, but really scary and terrible if you lost your DOS last year and the last post on your hotel's feed is wishing travelers a happy 4th of July. Now, thanks to the pandemic, travelers today are doing more research than they've ever done before. They want the peace of mind knowing that you have the ability and the means to provide them with an enjoyable, comfortable, and a safe stay. If they see outdated posts like this on your hotel's social account, they'll ask, how can I trust this business to take care of the finer details of things like cleaning my room if they can't even find the time to update messaging and communication to their guests? But simply being active on social media isn't enough anymore. This is not 2012. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the 4 elements of a healthy social strategy, and in the spirit of Thanksgiving last week, we'll use some familiar parallels to these elements. The first is awareness. Now, if you started your hotel's Instagram tomorrow, your goal would not to be get likes or bookings. It would be to get followers and eyes on the content that you're about to start posting. You can't sell anything without awareness. But it's also important to note that awareness does not happen overnight. You do not automatically receive 1,000 followers when you create an Instagram or Facebook account. Every hotel starts at the same place, 0. So it takes time to build an audience. After awareness comes engagement. Once you capture travelers' attention and earn their awareness, it's time to engage with them. Find out who your audience is online. What do they like? What are they willing to share with you or even talk about? Engagement is all about listening to your audience and finding out what makes them tick. Now, equipped with that info, we can get to the meat of our objective, conversion, which for our industry means bookings. And then if we're able to deliver on the service and experience promised, we could be fortunate enough to receive the icing on the cake, advocacy, reviews, recommendations, tags, and mentions. Guest advocacy through social media is a very powerful influencer, so much so that some people have even made a career out of it. But like any effective diet, we can't have too much or too little of any of these 4 elements. For example, an all-meat diet is not necessarily the healthiest approach, just like sharing solely book now link call to action post on your hotel social feed isn't the most effective way of securing bookings. A healthy social conversion strategy includes a well-balanced mix of both awareness and engagement. Just like an imbalanced diet, if you have too much or too little of one or more of these elements, it's likely going to have a negative effect on your results. For example, awareness without engagement is just a follower count. They are eyes with no reaction. This leads to disinterest in the content that you're sharing and ultimately to fewer followers, decreasing your chances of conversion. Engagement with no awareness also negatively impacts conversion. Your number of conversions are limited with such a small pool of travelers aware of your hotel's page. So with all this diet talk, it's time to exercise a little bit. So what we're going to do in today's webinar is start with a basic social post around a particular subject or topic. From there, we're going to add a little touch of the following: awareness, engagement, and finally conversion, exploring the various ways you can achieve different objectives by just slightly tweaking your post messaging. So let's get started. The first post we're going to look at features the look and feel of a hotel's rooms. This is a great example to start with. You would not believe the number of hotel social feeds I visit where I have to scroll sometimes 2 to 3 months worth of posts before I see a picture of the rooms. Rooms is the most visited tab on the hotel vanity sites that we build for our partners, and it needs to be at the forefront of your hotel social strategy. So how do we add just a touch and taste of awareness to this post? Remember, awareness is all about expanding our reach and follower count. So we want to focus on getting things like shares and retweets to increase the number of eyes seeing this post. So how about this? Winter is here, and we have some amazing rates and spacious rooms for you and your favorite travel buddy. Tag and share this post with your travel partner in crime and plan a trip today. It's simple, and it gives a directive for your followers to tag others, hopefully increasing the number of new eyes visiting your hotel's page. As we move on to engagement, we are looking for more follower reaction, things like comments and likes. This will give us more information about our current following and social audience, who they are, what they like and dislike. So for this post, with an engagement objective, let's try something like, our spacious, comfortable rooms and great rates are the perfect fit for any size group you're traveling with. Who are you traveling with this winter, family or solo? Comment below. This simple question can tell you a lot about your social audience's travel tendencies. For example, if you notice that a majority of the responses include family, you can then tailor social messaging with a more family-friendly tone, highlighting family amenities like your pool and hotel breakfast, and family events in the local area, giving you a better opportunity for your social audience conversion. So speaking of conversion, let's add a touch of it to this post. So if we've been effectively accomplishing the first two objectives of this exercise, getting more eyes and followers onto our hotel's feed, and then finding out information about what they're interested in and what motivates them, then we really should have the building blocks and foundation for a successful call to action posting campaign. Remember to always include your booking link in these posts and be sure to track their effectiveness through social analytics, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later. Okay, so let's look at another example, this time on Instagram, and we're going to create a couple of different posts surrounding one of the hotel's local attractions, in this case, a local hiking trail and state park. We'll start with awareness. Now, post about local attractions should be really easy because it's mutually beneficial for both your hotel and the attraction you're posting about. So reach out to these attractions and see if they'd be willing to engage in some sort of social contest or maybe even a promotion like the one you see here. Could be an opportunity to boost not only your awareness, but the attraction you're partnering with. Make sure with any of these social contests the property conducts, you are clearly explaining the rules and details of your contest. For engagement, local trivia and polls are also a great way to get your hotel social audience engaged. If you start to see a lot of responses to these types of posts, you can then start to adapt your questions to uncover more insights surrounding your travelers or even the guest experience, like a poll for your audience asking what their favorite amenity is or place or restaurant to visit while they're in town. It could uncover a wealth of knowledge for you to use for future posts. Conversion on Instagram is a little different from other social platforms, so I wanted to make sure to include it in this webinar. With Instagram, you can't you can't actually include a direct link within your post like you could with Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. With that being said, there are a few ways to still direct travelers to a booking link, and one of those is to include a link in your profile's bio, like the example reads here. Instagram is an extremely influential and powerful platform, especially with younger millennial and Gen Z travelers, so do not miss the opportunity to capture attention and bookings on this popular channel. Now, balancing a healthy diet of awareness, engagement, and conversion in your posts is really the foundation to any successful social strategy. But as we enter 2022, travelers' attention spans are shrinking, and there are more things than ever distracting our customers and fighting for their attention. So sometimes it's going to take more than just some clever text and an image like we've seen today. So we'll take a look at a couple ways you can spice up your hotel's social posts for next year. And the first is videos and GIFs. So if you want to create a post that stands out in your traveler's feed, try sharing a quick video or animation. Nothing too long. Remember, attention spans are short. No one is going to watch a 20-minute tour of the property, but a 20-second video reviewing everything included in your hotel's breakfast could be a really creative way to share content on your feed. If you're looking for a little bit more interaction, engagement with your followers, try going live or live streaming. You can ask questions, you can get instant reaction, and answer some pretty frequently asked questions by your guests. A great example of this could be live streaming how your hotel makes one of its famous mimosas or a breakfast item while explaining the hotel's breakfast policies and procedures. We talked about this at the beginning of the presentation as really the icing on the cake advocacy. Social influencers are still a very valuable asset if leveraged properly. A recommendation from an account with a large following can increase your hotel's awareness exponentially. If you do plan on partnering with an influencer, make sure you're doing your due diligence and set clear guidelines when you set up your social collaboration. And finally, setting proper expectations. Now, there isn't too much spice behind this tip, but this will be critical to a hotel's success in 2022. 5-star reviews will be won and lost based on the expectation that you set in your hotel's social feed. Breakfast is a perfect example. You might have had to make some adjustments to your breakfast over the last couple years, but if that is not properly communicated to guests, you risk failing to meet their expectations and see that failure reflected publicly in the form of a negative review online, impacting your conversion rate. Now, along with adding this spice to our post, there are also several essential tools that you'll need in 2022 to win more bookings via social media. The first is social media ad spend. If you're ready to take your social strategy to the next level and have a really good understanding of your target audience, social ad spend can be a real difference maker and increase both awareness and engagement a lot quicker than trying to build it organically. However, this can be extremely expensive and ineffective if you do not have a strategy associated with your spend. So make sure you have a concrete strategy or partner with someone with some social ad experience. The second is a social content calendar. Managing multiple major social media sites and catering to different audiences for each, hoteliers have to figure out a way to somehow stay organized. A content calendar is a critical component to that organization. Your calendar should really be able to quickly tell you things like when and what you've posted, what events, holidays are on the horizon, and what posts are in the pipeline in order to promote them on your hotel's social channels. And lastly, and I really would argue most importantly, is an effective way of tracking social analytics and data. This last essential tool is the difference between a social media strategy and plain old social media. Hotels that are going to be socially successful in 2022 are going to be looking at these analytics with the same focus and attention that they look at their room rates. What posts are working, which aren't? What posts are seeing the most or least engagement? What is the best time to post to my social audience? And what posts are getting me the best conversion and ultimately those booking clicks that I'm looking for? This is the type of detail that's going to be required in order to run an effective revenue generating social strategy for your hotel. So as we reviewed today, the complexity of a successful social strategy really has dramatically evolved, and the recent pandemic has only stressed the importance of effective communication to guests and setting your proper expectations for travelers using your social media feed. So can you do this on your own? Absolutely. And we have the tools to help facilitate hotels and resorts with social media departments that plan to. But the truth is that most hotels don't have social media departments. And with the industry staffing shortage right now, some might not even have one person dedicated to their hotel social media strategy anymore. And just like that, and just like your hotel's landscaping or pool cleaning, which also could be done at the property by the property, more and more hotels are outsourcing social media needs to Travel Media Group. We're a trusted social partner and one of the highest ranked hotel social agencies on Hotel Tech Report. Our customizable solutions comprise of everything you see here and include all of the 2022 social strategies essentials: social ad spend, content calendar, and advanced social insights and analytics. Social media is a revenue generating piece of your hotel's overall sales and marketing strategy. In 2022, you cannot afford to make sure it's not fully optimized and managed. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll to see what hotels or group of hotels would be interested in learning more about TMG's social solutions. So I'll go ahead and launch this poll real quick. We had a lot of interest in this particular subject, and I know a couple of you jumped on a little bit later. So I will go ahead and let you know we will be sending this out as a recording. Always get that question. It was a lot of content that we covered today. Hopefully I didn't do it too fast, but we will be sending out the recording for you. And then the next slide here, I will be providing my direct contact information. So if you have a little bit more of a specific question, I'd be happy to answer those offline as well. But again, I'll give everyone just a couple more seconds to engage with that poll, asking if, as we come to this new year, if you're looking to learn a little bit more about Travel Media Group's custom social media solutions. Okay, a couple more seconds here. Awesome. So again, as promised, here's my direct contact information in case you have any questions. You can also email me as well. If you're really enjoying our insights, this is our last webinar for 2021, but we have all of our educational webinars on our YouTube page, but also visit us on LinkedIn where we share tons of educational insights and opportunities. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join me and have a fantastic rest of your week.